The so-called COVID pandemic wasn't a surprise. It was a long-anticipated event, meticulously rehearsed by the global elite. Their fingerprints are all over the crime scene. mRNA technology wasn't some miracle of modern science rushed into existence. It was quietly developed behind closed doors by DARPA, the Pentagon's shadowy research arm, then handed off to Moderna and Pfizer to slap their corporate logos on it. What the public was told was cutting-edge innovation was actually a long-prepared weapon disguised as salvation. And it wasn't just the science, it was the script. In eerily prophetic simulations like Event 201, key players, Gates, Fauci and others, rehearsed every detail. The panic, the censorship, the lockdowns. The same tactics, the same lies, practiced to perfection. Fast forward 4 years and the world is waking up to the deception.
That awkward silence that you hear in America right now is the vaccinated realizing that we, the unvaccinated, were right. A major study found that the mRNA injections reduce a person's lifespan by a whopping 37%. In the United States, the average life expectancy in 2019 was 78.79 years. A 37% reduction from 78.79 equals a loss of just over 29.15 years. The average life expectancy in the Western world, generally encompassing Europe, North America, parts of Asia and Australia, is around 80 to 83 years. This means that the average life expectancy in Western nations has plunged by 29.6 to 30.71 years. In other words, the vaccines were bioweapons.
Everyone who mattered knew the plan. It wasn't a secret, not behind closed doors. Former BlackRock executive Edward Dowd broke ranks early on, blowing the whistle on what he claimed was a calculated agenda. Used the COVID vaccine as a tool of depopulation, starting with the elderly. Why? To quietly solve what he called the pension problem. Too many retirees, not enough money. In the cold calculus of the psychopathic elite, the solution was simple: fewer grandparents. Remember when Bill Gates pitched death panels to the world? They're no longer theory, they're policy.
The plan here was, I think, and again, I have no proof for this, but it is showing up. The COVID vaccines were designed to take care of a pension problem with the boomers, and then bring in 10 to 15 million younger, mostly male folks as replacement population. I mean, I haven't seen the documents that suggest that, but if I was going to want to take care of a debt problem and inflate the economy, I would do exactly what
that's right. It's the other side of the equation of replacement migration. You just don't bring in 25 million people in 4 years. You have to then also knock out the other people.
They said it was public health, but the numbers suggest it was something else entirely. Population control dressed up in a lab coat. The bombshell data from Japan, one of the most vaccinated and most rapidly aging nations on Earth, provides undeniable proof. Excess deaths, collapsing birth rates, and a vanishing generation. They gave themselves a decade, 10 years to bring the global population down, and the clock started ticking in 2020. By 2030, a significant portion of those who took the COVID bioweapon in 2021 may not be here to see it. That was always the plan. Remember when the media told us vaccine-induced myocarditis was mild? That it was nothing to worry about? Remember how they pushed young, healthy people to keep lining up for jab after jab like lab rats in a never-ending experiment? These weren't mistakes, they were calculated lies. And make no mistake, those who pushed this agenda, who silenced dissent and ridiculed truth-tellers, must be held accountable. Not exposed, but punished. History demands justice, and so do the dead.
And as a doctor, I know that if you actually get myocarditis, if you have diagnosable myocarditis, I've known this for 45 years and it's still true, 75% of you will be dead in 10 years. I'm very sorry to tell that to families and to people who have a child or themselves with myocarditis. It's either that or a transplant. You might succeed if you get a transplant. So those are your choices. If you've got vaccine-induced myocarditis with evident harm, 50% are dead in 5 years, 75% are dead in 10 years. That's the problem with truth. It's sad. And that's the problem when we've been lied to and allowed truths like this to occur in our bodies and in the bodies of our dearly departed loved ones.
3 out of 4 Americans live with a chronic disease. In Japan, just 7%. Let that sink in. While the West drowns in prescriptions, side effects and endless pharma ads, Japan is charting a different course, one rooted in prevention, not profit. Why did Japan emerge from the pandemic in better shape than much of the world? Because they're not beholden to Big Pharma. Over there, doctors don't just reach for the prescription pad, they often prescribe Shinrin-yoku, or forest bathing. No, it's not a spa treatment. It's a deliberate healing walk through the woods, without electronics, without distractions, just your senses and the forest. You listen to the birds, feel the bark, smell the pine, watch the light filter through the leaves, breathe in the living air. And science backs it up. Forest bathing lowers cortisol, boosts the immune system, and promotes real lasting health, the kind Big Pharma can't patent. So maybe the question isn't why are we so sick? Maybe the question is, who profits from keeping us that way?
TV News, the average American can't figure out why they feel like absolute trash.
We go live to a triple-boosted science truster who says,
It's just her genetics.
It's just genetic?
Yeah, literally. I never eat red meat. I switched to seed oils only because, health. And here I am.
We're here with a man who's just glowing from head to toe. Sir, what's your secret to your health?
Statins and blood pressure meds. Hold up, I'm about to have a heart attack.
What's your secret?
Just avoid the sun. I have skin cancer. That's why I do this.
Good thing they listen to their doctors. Not much more they can actually do.
true. Let's thank Big Pharma for being the main source of funding of all of our propaganda.
Sponsored by Pfizer, the largest criminal organization to ever do it.
We've just lived through a slow-motion genocide, 4 years of engineered fear, coercion and mass harm. And yet, not a single high-ranking politician has apologised, not one. But here's the good news. The spell is breaking. The people are waking up. Big Pharma no longer controls the narrative unchecked. Network television, once the mouthpiece of mass hypnosis, is losing its grip. The gaslighting isn't landing like it used to. And thanks to this movement, thanks to you, we're seeing cracks in the system, real progress. Think back to 2021. The political lockstep was unprecedented. Every nation, every institution, all marching in unison. Everyone must get the jab. Mandates, passports, censorship. It was global unanimity, something we've never seen before, not even in wartime. But now, the tide is turning.
Hi, everybody. I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr., your HHS Secretary, and I'm here today with NIH Director Dr. Jay Bhattacharya and FDA Commissioner Dr. Marty Makary. I couldn't be more pleased to announce that as of today, the COVID vaccine for healthy children and healthy pregnant women has been removed from the CDC recommended immunization schedule. Last year, the Biden administration urged healthy children to get yet another COVID shot despite the lack of any clinical data to support the repeat booster strategy in children.
That ends today. It's common sense and it's good science.
There's no evidence healthy kids need it today, and most countries have stopped recommending it for children.
We're now one step closer to realizing President Trump's promise to make America healthy again.
That's not just a shift, that's a crack in the dam. And it's only the beginning. The next step is clear. These products must be recalled and banned from the marketplace permanently. But that's not where it ends. Because after the damage, after the lies, after the lives lost, comes the most important phase of all, justice. Not just accountability, but consequences. Here at The People's Voice, we're determined to continue exposing the crimes of the elite and holding them to account, but we need your help. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and join the People's Voice Locals community for exclusive and uncensored content. I hope to see you there. Today's video is brought to you by IPv6ers. Are you a content creator who wants to publish information online without Big Brother